important it is. You got your eyes on the title. It's within
Yeah.
reach. What's this mean?
Oh, it's a big weekend for a lot of different reasons. First of all, we can win the Big East Championship, the regular season, which that's obviously a big thing. But the big thing is we're playing for an opportunity to host. And, if we lose a match, I think there's a good chance we lose that opportunity. So, there's a lot on the line, but this is good for us. I think having our backs against the wall is what the NCAA tournament feels like too. That's what the Big East Championship feels like. And so we've got to be able to respond in those pressure situations.
Yeah, just talk about this team's won conference titles before they know what it takes. How much does that help going into this weekend?
Well, I think it's interesting. Each team's different, but they do have experience. But I think they know it's, the Big East is better this year. It's a really strong league, and we're going to have to play at our top level to be successful, and I think they understand that.
Marysa was saying after that conference loss earlier in the year, she was saying that the kind of team was saying, that can't happen again. Where have you seen the team grow the most since that loss?
Well, I think that loss probably was really good for us. I think, you want them to be confident, but I almost think that we were getting to a point we just assumed we'd win. And, getting punched makes sure that you go back to the basics. And so, you can't take any night for granted. Teams are going to put their best out. And, I think since that loss, they've understood that and have kind of really dove into what we do well. We talk a lot about playing Creighton Volleyball, serving aggressively, keeping tempo, things that we think are core tenets. And I've seen them kind of lock into that. And then the other big thing is we feel like we've really spent a lot of time focusing on our defense and, flying after balls and, being more aggressive defensively. And I think we're seeing progress there.
When it comes to dealing with 18 and 22-year-olds, is it a tough balance? You want them to be confident and not to the point of overconfidence like you were kind of alluding to?
I think just dealing with humans in general, the mind is so powerful. So, we spend a lot of time trying to make sure that we're confident in what we do. Because if you don't believe that you're going to be successful, you're not going to be successful. So, I don't know if it's a balance. It's just making sure they understand what they're capable of and hopefully them believing in that.
Talk a little bit about this team playing on the road and how you feel about, from a year ago, they were peaking right about now, heading into the tournament.
Yep.
You feel like you're right there at the same point, or does this team need to step it up?
I feel like we really have taken some strides over the last 2 weeks. Again, primarily defensively. Our offense usually consistently is there, and so our big challenge to them is what we're doing defensively, and we're seeing a lot of strides there. Sometimes not as consistent as we need to be. We saw that against Butler. Butler would hit at a high clip one game and then at a low clip. We need to keep teams at low clips consistently. But I do like the stride that we're hitting. I like the mentality of this team, and we're excited about the next couple weeks.
How much growing up did your team do, down a set and down, in that second set, it went super long. How much maturity did your team show in that?
I love when we're in situations like that, because I always think if you're in a situation like that and you face it again, you can always look back and say, I've accomplished this. So I think, they showed great grit. They showed poise. I went back and watched it yesterday again, and I just liked what we did in those endgame situations. We went for it, and that's what we always preach. Let's go after and try to win it, and I thought we did that. So I think those things will pay dividends for us. It wasn't a perfect match. We missed 17 serves. We missed some opportunities, but I did think we showed some grit and some things that'll pay dividends in the long term.
You're ranked 13th right now, but do you feel like you've got a home court locked up and it's now yours to lose?
Well, I think we need to win out. Maybe if we got to the conference tournament final and lost, I think we'd still be in that mix to possibly host. But, I can speculate all day. But I think if we take care of things on the court and win, I think we've earned that opportunity to host, and we'll see if the committee agrees.
Do you just love this? A lot of teams that maybe have won conference titles the last couple of years, they might say we've been there before, but you guys, because it is, you have a shot to host. I guess, do you like, how much do you love the fact that, you don't have to tell them what's at stake because there's a bigger picture that, not only are you going for the conference championship, but to win that, you're going to set yourself up really nicely.
Yeah, I mean, again, we try to make sure the team knows everything. You know, it's not a situation that the coaches just talk about stuff. So the players know the situation, they know the opponent's situation. You know, when we went to Butler, we were very clear to them that Butler was playing for an at-large bid. You know, I think if they beat us, they're now inside the bubble. And so we told the team, be ready for an NCAA caliber matchup, and I think we saw that on Sunday. So, you know, our way of dealing with that is to give them as much information, try not to stress them out, but we feel like knowledge is a positive thing and a great motivator.
Do you feel like they respond to that pretty well? Because some coaches tend to go the opposite way
Right.
and hide it almost from their team as best they. I mean, online now everybody sees everything.
Yeah.
But
I do think they respond because I think what happens is they understand the ramifications of a match. Because I think you see sometimes inconsistency in teams. Like I'm up for a big match and now I'm playing a team that's maybe not as good on paper, and so you don't perform very well. But, you know, if you give them that information, they understand, you know, Georgetown isn't going to be a wow on paper. But if we lose that match, it destroys what we've worked for all season long. So Georgetown is a huge, huge match, and I think that information hopefully gets them up for every match that we step on the court for.
Okay, tell us your frame of mind, 37-36. How long is this match this set gonna go?
You know, I kept thinking, we need to win the game because we were down 1-0. But I also was really trying to enjoy it. I mean, how often are you a part of that? I mean, I've never been a part of a game that goes that long. So, you know, you're trying to stay calm and really, you know, we always talk about the power of smiling on the court. So I think we were, you know, as coaches, we were just trying to stay in the moment. And, you know, this is what it's about, right? Like the good games, that's going to be a memory we always remember. And so I think in the moment, you try to find the joy in it.
Cool. Win the conference championship this weekend. How much are you girls looking forward to that?
We are very excited, but we know to get to that point, like, we're going to have to work really hard in practice because both Georgetown and Villanova are going to be coming after us, so it's not going to be easy to, like, win this championship.
You've been there before, part of these championships. What do they mean?
It means a lot, and it's, like, great to be a part of, like, the rising tradition, like, from the very beginning, and I can't wait to see where it goes, like, after I'm done.
It also is a big part of whether you host in the first round of the tournament. How much is this team, you know, looking to do that?
100% looking to host, and like I said earlier, it deals with hard work, and that's both on and off the court. We know it's not going to be an easy road. Like, clearly Butler, like, we went to 5 with them. They're out gunning for us because they want to go to the NCAA tournament too, as well as Marquette and whoever else is in the tournament.
how do you? Obviously, there are bigger goals than a conference championship for this team. How do you still, though, I don't want to say celebrate, but yeah, still kind of say, yeah, that is a big deal. I mean, because, like, it is. Like, a conference championship is, while you have done it several times, it is still important.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and it's really hard to do. Like, it's not easy, and, like, we've worked so hard to get to this point, so, like, we don't want to give up now or lose it now. So.
Earlier in the year with that conference loss, was that made a big deal about, like, hey, that cannot happen again, or was it just kind of, just learn from it and move on? And I guess how have you guys responded to that so well?
It was a big deal because we didn't play well, like, all together. It wasn't us, and we know that can't happen again. Like, from here on out, like, we have to show up to every single game, and if you're not doing well in one area, like, we have to do something that's bettering the team. So that's why that loss was so important to us, and, like, ever since then, I don't think we've ever got to that point, and we're still practicing. Like, I mean, we all have our moments, but we all strive to make the team better, and I think that's what we learned from that loss.
You want to peak in December. Is this team on the road to that point where you were a year ago?
Yes, for sure. And I mean, it's a different outlook now, but we still, like, have the same goals, and we're going to keep reaching towards those.
What's it like to play in a 38-36 set?
It was crazy, and I was not expecting to get back onto the court, but it was great to see that we like, showed adversity and won that set. It was nice to see.
How important is it in those long sets to just kind of keep your poise and not get frustrated, even though it seems like you can never get 2 points ahead? How important is it to kind of keep your head in that type of set?
It's very important, like, just staying relaxed, and the best thing about it is that, like, it's exciting. So, and it was great to get that win.